Hey guys, long time no see. I know. I was genuinely dealing with a lot mentally, and what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is actually how I am actually learning to fix my situation and fully healing, because it's been pretty bad. But as you can tell from the title of this video, today I want to teach you guys how to love yourself. I want to preface that it is one of the hardest things that you can do, especially if you were raised in a certain way where you always grew with low self-value. It's really hard to actually learn how to love yourself, but it's really worth it once you do it. It builds the most confident and makes you the most happy. You become almost completely unaffected by others, or at least you rely a lot less on them. It's what it actually means to focus on yourself. Most importantly, I have been doing all this to heal from what's been going on with me. So let's get right into it. First, I want to start with a little mental exercise. If you'll join me. Whoa! If you'll join me for a little mental exercise. I want you to imagine your best friend, a crush, maybe even a family member who you love, who you do anything for. I want you to imagine this person, and imagine that you would have to live their life for 1 year. Of course, after that year, they'll come back, but you live in their body for 1 year. You lead their life for 1 year. How would you make sure that they came back to the best life possible? How would you make sure to take care of their goals and aspirations and their different responsibilities? I want you to now make a list of every single little thing that you would do for them. Every single thing, how you would take care of that person. So just go ahead, pause the video now, and then, I don't know, I guess come back once you actually made it. Okay, you did it. Great, love that. All right, so now I want you to look at that list of how you would take care of this person, of all these little actions, then ask yourself, why aren't you doing that for yourself? And then it's like, oh, shit, right? Because this is actually the basis of how you love yourself. By first taking yourself out of it, and then doing those things that you would do to take care of that person. But first, we have to get some basic things out of the way. Now that we talked about that basic exercise, that initial stage, I want to talk about our base mindset when it comes to actually loving yourself. There's a lot of things to it. First of all, you need to separate your emotions from logic. What I mean is that when we're working on loving ourselves, we'll be working in a space where you have the you that experiences all your emotions, everything that you do feel, everything life happening to you. And then there's a you that's seeing all of that, that can see that you're experiencing all these things, that can see you're experiencing all these emotions. We'll be mostly working in that space where we're from the outside looking in. It takes a certain amount of emotional maturity and intelligence, but once you can sort of like realize and conceptualize it, that's a space that we'll be working in. Not only will be working in a space where you can see yourself experiencing things, but then also realize that when it comes to taking care of yourself and loving yourself, no one is coming to save you. Really, if you have a void in your heart from loneliness or all of this pain, there's no one else that's really gonna be able to fully save you per se, or take care of your every single need, because there's no one else that is with you 24/7 other than yourself, if you really think about it. There's someone screaming in my background. Anyways, when it comes to the whole idea of self-love, how do we even do that? A lot of people base their self-love on, oh, I can lift this much in the gym, or I look this good, or this many people text me, or I have this much money. But then we have to go back and think about, if you go up to a parent right now that loves their kid, will do anything for them, will like fight a bear and die for their kid. If you ask that kind of parent why they love their kid, what do they say? they always say like, oh, I love them because he's my kid, she's my kid, they're my kid. Like, there's no other reason I have to. Well, of course there can be other reasons, of course, but the base reason is that they are my child, they are my person, I need to take care of them. It's the same with you. When a parent has their child, if they're not insane, right, then their love is not based on good grades or attributes or skill or achievements. It's based on the fact that they have their child and they will be with their child for a very long time. So they must take care of this person. And that's the mindset that you should have when it comes to self-love. Where if you've been experiencing all this pain, all this hurt, you need to look at yourself and be like, no one else is coming to save you. If no one else will, I will. Because you are the one person I will be with for the entire rest of my life. Because that's the reality. You are the one person you will be with for the entire rest of your life. So treat yourself as such. Take care of yourself as such. And I want you to take that list that we made in the exercise earlier. I want you to start doing things out of self-love. And therefore, when it comes to self-love, it's extremely subjective, because that list looks way different from the other person. Like, for one person, or maybe for you, it could look like going on a walk in the morning, drinking a little bit more water. But then for the other person, it's like spending 6 to 10 hours making their business or their video, right? There's no shame. There's no judgment. It's entirely subjective. It's all about how you want to love yourself, right? How you want to act that out. You'll notice, and I definitely did when I started practicing this, is that once you start doing these things out of self-love, these things that you know you value and you appreciate, you'll naturally build a sense of self-worth and self-love just by acting like you have it. What I mean is that for me personally, I can't really do the whole affirmations thing where it's like, I love myself and I am this and that. No, I can't tell myself that, but I can show it in my actions, right? And when it comes to making this list, if you don't know where to start, it's fine, really, because I'll just give you a few examples of where to start if you don't know where. I would definitely say that starting at your physical health is the basis of self-love and just becoming better mentally. And I mean, like, getting better sleep, eating right. And eating right doesn't mean you have to eat. Eating right doesn't mean like you have to eat nothing but a salad every day, but like, make sure you're fueling your body right. Make sure you're getting nutrition, some sense of nutrition, you know, you're eating some kind of meat, veggies, and I don't know, rice or whatever, you know, somewhat healthy food most of the time, drinking plenty of water, right? And maybe cutting out soda, whatever, and then working out in your own way. And that doesn't have to mean like lifting 300 pounds or whatever. It can just be going out on a walk every morning, as long as you're getting active. Because as soon as you get that base layer of physical health, the mind follows, and it gets a lot better and clearer, especially when you stay active and you're pursuing towards a goal, right? Then on top of that, another great thing is to journal, just to have an outlet for your emotions. You know, if you need to crash out in your journal, just fucking crash out and have an outlet for your emotions. But on that actual point of getting your emotions somewhere, well, we'll talk about that later. Also, I would recommend to do a dopamine detox, you know, here and there. You don't have to like go cold turkey, get rid of your phone for like a week or anything crazy. Just like, you know, here and there, maybe spend 10 minutes just sitting down, thinking. Let your mind just think whatever it thinks. Or even doing laundry with no music or anything, just thinking about stuff, processing, whatever you gotta do, right? Just not being on your phone so much. Here's another big one. Leaving situations that you just don't want to be in. You know, talking to people you don't want to talk to, or being in places you know you're not supposed to be. That's a really good way to act out self-love. When you don't want to be there, but then some other force is making you, just don't be there. Really. And if you start at the basis of physical health, journaling, having some outlet for your emotions, having a dopamine detox, and leaving situations when you feel like it, you'll automatically start to feel so much better about yourself. Because that's acting out self-respect, that's acting out self-love. So now that, we went over, your base mindset and the things associated when it comes to self-love and actually acting this out a little bit, now let's get into another big principle about this, what this is actually doing. And a part that you really can't forget is self-discipline. It is easily the best form of self-love. And all it really is, I know that a lot of people think of like David Goggins and running like 15 miles a day. That's not what self-discipline just is. It's a form, and it works for David Goggins, but I'm not David Goggins, you're not David Goggins. Maybe David Goggins is watching this video, I don't know. Either way, what self-discipline actually is the want and the consistency of showing up every day for your goal. Showing yourself every single day how much your goal means to you. For example, if self-love means so much to you, if getting better mentally, if getting better physically means so much to you, you will consistently commit to that list that you made. And if you don't, that means you don't want it. Or you don't want it enough, or you don't have a good why. You won't get better if you don't want to, which, if you don't want to, that's fine. But working consistently in every day is what makes a change. Making an actual change in your habits, making an actual change in your life is what makes an actual change to your mind, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. So you have to change. Now, give you your base mindset, actual actionable things you can do, and then, of course, the principle of self-discipline. Now let's get into the most complicated part of this, and that is the part that will give you easily the most healing to your mind. What I'm talking about is soul searching, which when you first hear that, you're like, sweet Jim, what are you talking about, man? But really, it's hearing yourself out. It's giving room for your thoughts to flow, allowing those raw emotions to flow and not just bottle up. What it looks like is that you just sit down for like 10-20 minutes and you do allow those thoughts to flow. And anytime that you hear some thought that, like, I don't know, I want to be with someone, that loneliness calling, don't just like be like, oh, shut the fuck up, or just go scroll Instagram and TikTok for like 2 hours. Instead of stuffing it, hear it out, right? Don't just suppress it, because sometimes your brain needs to sort things out. And if you do suppress, it'll end up being more painful, and it'll just snowball over time. Overall, the goal is to get in tune with your emotions, therefore get in tune with yourself, therefore understand yourself. This is what actual meditation is. It's not the it's actual experiencing your emotions, letting them have an outlet, and having your brain just sort things out naturally by just sitting there for 20 minutes, and just thinking when you feel like it. If you feel like you need to, like, oh, I need to say something, or my brain needs to say something, just sit down and just, grab some earphones. You can do it with or without music. For me, I don't do it with music, whatever. But it's just, if no one else is hearing you out, hearing yourself out in your own mind is what can lead to true healing. And doing that often and consistently is what leads to true healing. The point is to feel what you feel, not just act on what you feel. To see some logic in it. For example, let's run through that loneliness example I brought up, right? Where it's like, oh, I want to be with someone so badly. Instead of just telling yourself, oh, shut up, just be like, yeah, I know, it really sucks. It'd be great to be with someone, huh? Then you would say, yeah, it'd be amazing, I could do all these things, right? Just, run through that and then maybe see whether or not there is some merit or some logic in any of those thoughts. And if there isn't, well, we'll get into that with questioning your line of thinking. Questioning yourself, why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? Where you genuinely, ask yourself, why do I want to be with someone? Say that you just lack fulfillment in life. That conversation could go, oh, why do you want to be with someone? Oh, because I'm unhappy being alone. Why are you unhappy being alone? Because what I have isn't fulfilling enough. And then you could even go further and be like, what's not fulfilling? And then you can think, I hang out with people that make me feel awful. I physically feel like garbage and nothing I do is enjoyable or fun anymore. And then another great example is if you don't feel like you're deserving of love, where I can imagine you could say in your own mind, you're venting, you're hearing yourself out, and you're saying like, I always go after people that are just uninterested in me because I feel like if I don't work for it, I don't deserve it. And then you could question why. Why do I think this way? And then you could think back to your childhood and be like, well, I grew up in a household where I had to get really good grades for me to actually be appreciated and loved. There you go. You hear yourself out, and then you find the answers. This is what it means to find the answers within yourself. By hearing yourself out, let your brain sort things out, questioning your line of thinking, and then finding the root cause of them. And therefore, finding the answers. But alright, we heard ourselves out. We found the answers by questioning our line of thinking. Now what do we do? Right? The goal should be to now find a solution, to come to some sort of conclusion. It can't be real small, right? I remember when I was first getting into this, I would spend 10-20 minutes doing it, and I would be searching for the answers. It would be because of this, be because of that, but it already took so much out of me, and just finding 2 answers that I was already just exhausted mentally. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. This is already really painful. I just don't want to continue. And that's fine. Then you can just come to the conclusion, there's a lot to unpack. I just need more time to sort things out. And that's completely fine. If there's just so much to unpack in one session, in one sitting, there's so much to unpack mentally, that's completely okay. You came to the conclusion that you just need more time. If you find out that, oh, I've been physically feeling awful, let me maybe start going to bed a little earlier so I can get more sleep, or maybe I'll go for a walk tomorrow. The conclusions can be real small, but the point is to get somewhere, to take a step forward towards healing. What should we actually do, right? For the example we gave earlier for my life is not fulfilling enough, that's a pretty common one. That would be to, stop hanging out with those people that, don't treat you so well, and to maybe make new friends. On top of that, try to sleep better, go for a morning walk and explore new hobbies. The point is to come to a conclusion so that way you take action and you take actual steps forward, feasible steps, even if they're real small. It doesn't matter how small the steps are as long as you're making forward progress. All right, so we went over our soul searching. Ask yourself, what do you feel? Then questioning your line of thinking, ask yourself, why do you feel? And then we come to a conclusion asking, how should I feel? How to feel? How should I sort this out? What should I do about it? Then I should also lay out for you your actual soul searching goals. What are you trying to do when it comes to soul searching? And that's to give yourself an outlet for your emotions. Give yourself a clear mind when you need it. When you're sleeping, when you're doing a task, when you're working out, when you're going about your daily life. The point is to have an outlet for your emotions so that you don't have to think about it any other time. They're not plaguing your mind, these thoughts that you don't want to have because you already give them an outlet. And then another huge goal is to find out why you think the way you do, why you have all these issues, and if there's more issues or less issues than you originally thought. Then giving yourself something actionable so you can make forward progress. So you set yourself on the right path towards healing and making forward progress towards that so you can make a change. Then on top of all that, soul searching is the best form of self-sufficiency because you're not relying on other people to do all this healing and all this work for you. You're doing it yourself. And the best part about it is that since you're actually solving your mental issues and not just putting them off for later, since you're actually handling them in the moments that you feel ready, you can distract yourself right after, right? Whenever I do like a good bout of soul searching and I've like sat there, I've come to a really good conclusion and I'm ready to make action after hearing myself out and questioning my life and thinking, I'm not gonna keep going. I'm just gonna watch some YouTube, probably watch some Silent Hill gameplay, stuff I really enjoy because, again, I am trying to love myself, and how I act that out is by doing these things that are going to make me heal, but then still doing things that I know make me happy. It's very important that you do both. So when it comes to all of this, all this self-love, soul searching, what does this do? What's the point of it, right? The point and the main line I want you to take away for all we do this for is mental freedom. Freedom from emotional pain, from trauma, from people, from drugs, from love, everything. You are free from everything once you have proper self-love and you know how to take better care of yourself in soul search. You end up living life with no shackles, not bound to any people or thing. You live life how you want to, without these other things plaguing your mind. It also does true healing, deep healing that you may have needed for days, weeks, years even. It gets to the root of everything. Also, it's a form of exposure therapy, depending on how deep you go. Because, think about it, right? Whenever operators in the military goes through something as extremely traumatic as watching their friend die right in front of them and experiencing survivor's guilt, they don't fix it initially by just taking a bunch of meds. No med is really going to ever genuinely fix the deep root of your issue. It may help with some symptoms, but it will never truly fix it. At least not in the American health system, let's be honest here. But instead, these guys that go through this extremely traumatic thing, or things as gunfights, they go through exposure therapy. They go through every single detail in their mind until it's no longer an issue, until they fully humanize it in their brain. Then it's just kind of like, yeah, he was a great guy, but that happened, but I move on with my life. Once you actually take the time to humanize these experiences, to not make them this big giant thing and letting them snowball, but instead actually processing and handling the emotions, that's when you become truly free from this trauma. On top of that, it also boosts you in physical health and mental health as well. It really helps with both, especially if the main thing you want to try to get towards is physical health. It also builds a lot of self-worth by showing self-respect, by showing how much you love yourself through that self-discipline. Eventually, you do this for enough time, and then you look back to see, I've done this for so long and I've stayed so committed. I find so much worth in that. That's exactly what happened for me, where I looked back and it's like, I've seriously been working at this since December of last year. oh my God, that's huge. And that's something that you can base your self-worth on, in that you put so much effort into this thing to invest within yourself. Another great thing is that you can say no to anyone. You can say no to those friends that treat you like crap, to going out to this thing because you know they're just gonna bully you or whatever. You can say no to those people because you're not looking to be fulfilled by them. Most importantly, you just live how you want to without any of those things holding you back. You become less reliant on people for happiness, less reliant on social media or drugs for fulfillment. It allows you to heal from practically anything. Alright, so what are we walking away with here? The main thing I want for you is for you to love yourself. For you to imagine the person that experiences everything and your emotions in life. I want you to do things for that person the same way you do them for that person that you love. I want you to love yourself as if you are your own child. Which, okay, hold on, that sounds really weird. Basically, I want you to just realize that you are the one person you will be with for the rest of your life. And I want you to love yourself because you're yours. Then I want you guys to all soul search. I want you guys to let those emotions flow. I want you to face them. I want you to question your train of thought so you can find the answers. And I want you to come to a conclusion so you can make forward progress towards healing. What do I feel? Why do I feel? How to feel? And I want you all to realize that if you do all of this, you will become the happiest and the healthiest mentally and physically you've ever been in your entire life. Trust me. I've done it. I'm doing it. Now, it's time for you guys to do the same. So, I hope that helps you guys out. This is like the basis towards doing anything in life, pursuing a goal, pursuing love. I was gonna make another video on how to find these people and how to find love, but this is so much more important. I want you guys to work on this, and I want you guys to know how to love yourself very well before anything else. So please, do this for yourself. Do this for your future. Yourself is depending on it. You know what I mean. But yeah. Then for me, I'll probably make another video about what's going on. Maybe. But I really just want to reach out to you guys, and I want you guys to please heal. Oh, and don't forget, join the Discord, or maybe it'll probably just be in the description. Please join the Discord. We have a lot of fun in there if you haven't yet, and I'll just have to manually verify you. I'll be in there, and my DMs are completely open. If you have any questions about anything, I'm more than happy to help out anyone in need. We also have a Christian section if you're a Christian, or if you're curious about Christianity. Appreciate you guys. Sorry it's been so long, but I hope this helps you all out. Hope you guys have a great one. See ya.